Hi there, welcome to Floating in Dreams. Today's video is going to be my Shop My Stash for the month of November. In case you're new here, my name is Micah. I like to talk about eyeshadow palettes, Essence and Catrice reviews, and getting the use out of my makeup. And because of that, I want to use my makeup sort of thing. I come on here every first Tuesday of the month to do a Shop My Stash and create an everyday makeup drawer with some products that I want to use up, go back to, things that I want to try out. And in the meantime, it may be good to know that I have fair skin with a cool to neutral undertone, and it greatly skews my makeup preferences. And I know quite well what I like because I have been trying, buying, and reviewing makeup and skincare and all that goodness for more than a decade. So I have a lot of content also up on other places, so I would like to invite you to also check out my blog if you want to see any close-up reviews of any of the products I'm talking about today. So what you're looking at currently are all the products I was using in October. I'm going to go over these really quickly first, give you some mini reviews, then we'll select the new products to go in here, and then I'll also be showing you which eyeshadow palettes I will be using in the month of November. For primer, almost done but not quite, but I think if you look here, there's just a little bit left. I think I'm going to be able to use this up really quickly in the next couple of days. This is the Essence Hello Good Stuff Glow Serum Primer. It's the one that people say is a dupe for the Good Molecules. No, what's it called again? The Glow Recipe Water Drops, or whatever it is called. I've never tried that product myself, but I do feel this is a good enough primer. However, I was having a moisturizer in my skincare routine this month that I actually really enjoyed, and it made me forego primer in most days. I was just forgetting to put on primer because I felt my skin was already nicely prepped before putting on other makeup. So that's why it's not gone totally yet, but I will be selecting a new primer. Then I was trying out some foundations, and I actually have some foundations that I know I'm gonna have to put in here because I want to get a foundation review out for you before the end of the year, and I still have some things to try for that. Ordinary Serum foundation has been in my Shop My Stash for a few months now. I think I can still get away with it for another month or so, but the shade is getting a bit dark for me. But I'm gonna keep it in here because this is a foundation I'd like to use up before the end of the year. And I'm happy to report to you, you can't see it right now because I just used it, so it's all shaken about. But I'm sort of like down to this ladder bit here, and it's getting harder to pump out product every time I use it. And then we have the L'Oreal Nude True Match Nude Serum Foundation and the Wonder Match from Eveline Cosmetics. The L'Oreal was a recommendations from my viewers when I asked them, like, what other drugstore foundations would you like me to try? And I popped these in my Shop My Stash for October because the shades of these, after I had tried them once, I could already see that the shades for these were not the best for my fair skin. Both of these are a little bit too dark and mainly too yellow, so that's why they aren't perfect for me. I like the formulas of both of these quite a lot. This one I find a bit messy to use though. It has a dropper, and I got a lot of product coming out of the dropper as I was taking it out of the bottle, making it a little bit messy. And then this one actually does have a regular pump, but as I said, the shades for these are not a great match for me. I have dedicated reviews up on my blog with both of these, so definitely check it out if you want to see the close-up of how these aren't exactly a match. Staying in here is my Kiko Radiant Fusion Powder. I'm still making a dent in this. There's a really nice size dent in here by now, so I'm gonna keep using it. I tend to use up powders before I select a new one. The concealer, I thought I was gonna go and use it up before the end of the year. This is the MAC Studio Fix Smooth Wear Concealer, and this has gotten to the point where some days where I've opened my drawer, you can actually see that there's no longer product like attached to the sides if it was laying down like that. So I've made good progress on this, I feel, but if I leave it upright like this, I can't see any progress yet. It's quite a thick formula, so I don't need a lot of product with this. And I'm actually feeling that this is perhaps better for me in like the summer season. I feel my skin is getting a little bit dry for this formula right now, so I will be selecting a new concealer. Bronzer, I just had this guy in, the Ombre Skin Glazing Bronzer from Nabla. Great bronzer, loved it still, but I'm ready to select something new. And then for highlighter, I was using this, something old, something new. This is the Becca Vanilla Quartz, and I fell in love with this thing all over again. I use this most days because I just love the shade of this on my skin for sure. But I was also testing out the Make Me Glow highlighter from Essence. This is new from them for the fall winter season, and this just gave me pure nude vibes, so I had to try this. It's really pretty. It's not as dark as it looks in the pan. It has a much more cool toned shine to it. But since this is only available in one shade, it can be difficult to recommend this to a lot of people. But yeah, it's cheap and cheerful. It works really well, but I'm not... With Essence like highlighters, I never really go back to them once I've tried them. I prefer Catrice highlighters over Essence for sure. And for blush, there were two older bits in here and something I had not yet reviewed, even though I had it for a while. This is the ColourPop blush in Just My Pluck. I have been calling this the Plush Like Me blush for the longest time, but it's called Just My Pluck. I only realized that when I was writing the review for it. Plush Like Me is actually one of their eyeshadow palettes, so yeah, I kind of messed up the naming there. And it's no longer in the right packaging because I didn't like the plastic compact it came in, so I popped it into another ColourPop blush packaging, so that's why I no longer knew what it was called. But yeah, this was lovely. It's a really nice cool tone mauve, and this is the ColourPop blush I've kept around in many declutters after trying a couple of them over the years, and this has been my perfect shade. The bronzer from Bare Minerals I used quite a bit at the start of the month, especially in combination with the Becca Vanilla Quartz highlighter. This was just a match made in heaven. This is such a good, more warm toned blush shade, but without it being overly warm, and it works really well on my skin for like just a great blush look that goes with everything. But the surprise this month was Rapture from Urban Decay. Now this is long since discontinued, you can no longer get it. Do you see how dark this looks in the pan? And yet I loved it every single time I put it on. I think in terms of like a plummy mauve blush, this is my perfect one, and I was wearing this a lot more once I had tried it again, because it looks so intimidating in the pan that I wasn't using it a whole lot. But now that I've used it again, I actually think I want to keep it in here because it's actually really pretty on. I'm wearing it in several makeup looks that you'll see going up in the next couple of weeks, and I think I was also wearing it in some of the videos that went already live. So if you want to see me wearing this more recently, then you definitely can. Mascara, I'm going to keep this one in, my Glam & Doll Waterproof that I use to make sure my eyeshadow doesn't smudge as much. But this is getting really dry. The Lash Princess from Essence, I love this mascara, it's really good. But I do feel it doesn't last very long in terms of when you need to replace it. This just gets thick and gloopy very quickly. I think this was the second month it was in my Shop My Stash, so it's time to move it out. Brow products are still going strong. Essence Make Me Brow, my favorite all-time brow gel for sure. I've tried many others, but this is still my favorite. And my Archery Brow Pencil from Soap & Glory is still not anywhere near being done. So this is going to stay for another month because I like it, but I will be selecting another setting spray. I've just decided this is not worth trying to use it any longer. This is the Bang Boom Brow setting spray from Catrice. The spritzer on this is so aggressive. It's not a nice spritz. It just deposits way too much product on my skin, and I feel it's actually too drying as a result. So this is something I will stop using, and I will just put it in a declutter pile because this is not good. These are all still going strong. My Milani eyeshadow primer is still going strong, even though it's getting low. We're making good progress on this, as is my Painterly and that. So if you'd like to know how I use these products, actually I have sort of decided that I want to try out shorts / TikToks in the next couple of weeks, so I have a couple of things filmed already. If you also have ideas of shorts I can do, then definitely let me know. But first have a look at what I'm actually going to be posting. I had a few ideas and I already put them into practice, and one thing that I did is film a short with how I do my double prime method. So because I get questions about that, so I thought I could show you. And then this is still in here because I haven't quite finished trying out my custom singles for the month. So I was putting some mattes from the ABH Subculture with some multi-chromes from Cleona and Davina. These are things I wanted to go back to, or I hadn't put them on my eyes yet. I've used all of the shades so far, but I still want to do at least one look with just abrasion, I think. So these multi-chromes simply work the best if you don't put too many other things with them, I find. So I definitely want to make sure that abrasion gets its moment to shine as well. So that's why this is still going to stay in here, but you will see a video very soon. I think it's going to be up next week, where I'm going to show you what looks I did with these and also update you on the single shadows I'll be using next. Let me move you up to the makeup drawers and we can select a lot of new products because we are going to have a couple of things in here that are new. So never mind the mess. This is what happens when you get towards the end of a makeup buying here. That's just the way things go. So I need 2 new foundations to try out this month. I'm going to keep the Ordinary in for the days where I no longer want to use those. And one of them isn't even in the drawer because this doesn't really fit anywhere. It's the Lisa Eldridge Seamless Skin Foundation. I want to try this out more. I bought it over the summertime to put in my foundation review of like other foundations I had already tried this year. So this is one. I mean, it's still in its packaging. That's the actual bottle right there. I have this in the shade 5, in case you were wondering. For a skin tint, I'm gonna be using the Glossier skin tint. I put a full face of Glossier up on my channel in October, and I just want to get more use out of it to see how much I like this and really give it a good review so I can prepare for that video, which I want to post in December. So 2 higher end things. For concealer, I actually want to go back to this. This is the Apieux Moist Creamy Concealer. This is a K-Beauty brand, and I remember really liking this when I tried it. And I do want to try and see if I can still use up a concealer before the end of the year. So I think I'm going to try and make it this one. We need to select a new bronzer because I'm going to put the Nabla back into the drawer. And I was mentioning it in my recent top 10 bronzers for fair skin that, yes, the Becca bronzer in Bali Sands. I just need to get more use out of it, like with the Nabla one. So this is the one I want to put in this Shop My Stash. Now I also want to select some new highlights, and I don't think, if I'm not mistaken, I haven't reviewed this yet, and I've had it for a while. So this is the Christian Dior, Dior Forever, whatever, Couture Luminizer in Pink Glow. And I think this will be pretty for right now. Like, look at that shine. I like that. But I haven't used it a lot, so maybe I should try that. Then we have something new. I'm veering this, which is the Annabelle Perfect Glow highlighter in Topaz. This is the best white gold highlighter I've ever tried, and this way we would have something high-end and something drugstore. And a product I really need to give a review is this Wayne Goss face palette. It's a blush and highlighter duo, so I would have an extra highlighter actually in here. This is in Azalea or Azalea Blossom. Vivid Azalea, that's what I called, that blush. I think November is going to be the month to try this. This is aimed at fair skin actually as well, also the highlighter. So I can use that and give it a review, but I also want to try some cream blush. So I have both of these from LYS, and I think I need to see which one. Maybe the nudie one first. I'm gonna use this first. So this is in the shade Self Love, and this is the one I'm gonna use this month as well. So we've got a cream, we've got 2 powders, and I don't really need to select anything else right now. I almost forgot, we also need a new primer. This is the new Catrice Clean ID Hyper Hydro Serum Primer. So I figured I could use that as a primer next because that's a new in Catrice product that I have yet to try more. And maybe for good measure, I can put in some more new Catrice. This is from their Disney Villains collection. This is their hydrating setting spray that they came out with in this limited edition collection. And I felt it was pretty nice the first time I tried it. So I might want to try that more as well. So these are all the products I can select from this drawer. So now I'm going to show you how I put the drawer back together and what eyeshadow palettes I will be trying in the month of November. Those are the products that are going to be in here for the month of November. I completely forgot to update you on my lipsticks, and that's because this is the only lip product I've worn all month because I'm trying to use it up. This is the Tower 28 Milky Jelly Gloss in Coconut, and as you can see, we are very much down to like the last little bit. So I hope I can use it up this month. It will probably again be the only lip product I've tried all month. But now, for the fun stuff. What eyeshadow palettes will I be using in the month of November? So I do several videos with eyeshadow palettes every month, and I always like trying out some new things. I've been limiting myself to 5, and these are the 5 palettes I'm going to be trying out in November. So I was gifted these Douglas palettes by a subscriber. Eyes Full of Stars and Sunset Girl. So this is the more neutrally cool tone leaning one, and then this is a bit warmer. I've never tried this brand before, and yet they are very widely available here. Douglas is like a type of Sephora-like store over here in Europe. They're German, but they do have stores all around the Netherlands as well. So I've never tried their name brand, so I have no clue what that will be. Then I'm going to be trying some really glammed up neutrals from Glaminatrix. This is their Nearly Natural. And this I already swatched, and it's intense. So I hope that this will look pretty on the eyes. It's just a little bit more warm tone than I had expected when I got it in. So I'm hoping I like it. And then the Nocturnal I'm actually a bit more excited about because this is one I want to try because it just, like, this looks like fall in a palette to me. And I will also be putting this one in a different video this month. I think it's either going to be in the palette battle or the palette dupes. I don't know yet, but I have quite a few eyeshadow palettes that have roughly this kind of color story. So I do want to compare this. I think it's going to be in a palette dupes video, actually, where I'm going to be comparing this to some other palettes I already have. So yeah, that's going to show up in several videos. And then the much hyped up Serenity palette from Cosmic Brushes is going to be my brighter option this month that I'm going to be trying. So we've got something neutral, something brighter, something fun, something that's a bit more affordable, something that's indie. So we've got a little bit of everything again this month in terms of like new things I want to try. But I also do a video series now where I like going back to older things. So these are the older things I want to go back to. Now the first palette is not the palette you might expect it to look like. The Off Quartz from ColourPop I actually used to repress some Juvia's Place shadows into. So these are from the Masquerade, the Royal Nubian, and the, what's it called again? The Magic palettes. And this looks messier every single time I open it because this matte did not repress the best. So I just want to make sure I use it to determine whether this matte still functions. If it does look okay on the eyes, I'm just gonna, because this looks very cracked, so, and it's like totally spilled into this shade here, so I hope I can still clean it up, but maybe I just need to discard that shade and use these shimmers as is, because the shimmers repressed beautifully, but I thought this looked like November in a palette to me, so I wanted to use it because of that. But I love my grungy greens in the fall time as well, so I wanted to go back to the Nomad, because I was like, ooh, that's such a good color story. So I want to play around with that. This was a request from some of you. So the Love in London from BH. I'm going to go back to it in November and do at least 1 or 2 looks with this, maybe 3 even. I already reviewed all of these, of course, so I have already looks up with these on my channel and my blog as well. But yeah, I wanted to go back to this as well. So thank you for the suggestion. And then this was another suggestion from one of you guys. This is the Huda Beauty Mercury Retrograde. And I agree. For November, I think this is going to be a really good pick to try because it's got those really nice lighter shades. It's still fall because we get the peachy tones, but it also has that sort of like sprinkling of cool tones that are perfect for a rainy day. Plus, it's got a bit more color. So I can't wait to play around with that. And then the other day, I was just like, this Zoeva on taupe. I know you can no longer get it, but come on. If we're thinking November in a palette, then it's this. So I was like, yeah, and this has 2 duochromes that nobody ever talked about when this was out. It's very light though, but I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have a lot of fun playing around with this again. This is my Shop My Stash for the month of November. I really hope you enjoyed watching today. I would like to stay tuned for some of that other content that I will be making. I hope you enjoy the shorts I have planned out for you. Please be mindful if you do give me any suggestions for shorts I might be able to do, that I have already pre-filmed every single short I could potentially post in November. So any suggestions you have, I would love to take them on board, but I will not be able to execute any of it until December time, just so you know. But yeah, I do like to see what you guys want to see and like hear about what, you know, what palettes you want me to feature, etc., etc. So that's the Shop My Stash for right now. Thank you so very much for joining me today. Thumbs up the video if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more by me. I make several videos every single week, so if you'd like to stay tuned for more, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye-bye!